Hello, hockey, basketball, and soccer fans. My name is David. I thought I would start this video at 9:26 on the morning of Friday, 24th of November, 2023, North American Eastern Time. Thought I would do a little bit about the Edmonton Oilers and how they've just fallen off the face of the earth this season. And all these theories about where Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who the Oilers drafted in the top 10 in their respective draft years, will end up going, at least effective after their contracts are done. I mean, who knows if either going to sign? Sure, the start of the season has taken a tremendous toll on their mental health. There's no doubt whatsoever these Oilers are in trouble. I'm just going to just see where the Oilers are in the NHL standings. Just going to, but before then, I'm going to do is a very interesting article here from Nick Kypreos, co-host of the daytime via Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Real Kipper and Born Show. Well, yeah, to not take for granted. And there's a very interesting one there. Just going to. Alright, where do I go here? Did I go back a little bit there? So, yeah, I'm going to go. We're going to do the. Let's go with the Apple News article here. Alright, let's see there. Alright, so that's a very interesting article there in the Toronto Star. Oops. Just going to. Alright. Gonna go over there. Alright. Alright, meanwhile, Toronto fans of Leafs won't have to worry about that. Well, on that point, I still disagree with Kypreos. Let's take a look at the standings. So, whoops. Alright, so I'm just going to go to. So do these have to worry about it? They still do. This season has not started off as well as last. All I'm going to do is going to go to the. So let's just see here. Alright, so as of the 22nd of November. Let's see here. Look at how the Leafs have been doing. They're fourth. They're fourth in the Atlantic Division. Well, and they're in the first wild card spot. Well, thinking, oh, big deal. Well, okay, so the Blue Jackets have struggled, but the Leafs can still conceivably go all the way down. Go down into the bottom five of the wild card race. Only the top two teams qualify. So, the Leafs still got to worry about that. And in terms of the Western teams, look here. Jets getting a little bit more secure. 24 points. 25 for the Canucks. Oops. Or 27 for the Canucks. Excuse me. Alright, so. So. There's not great security. Not as great for the Jets. So, 3 points up on the Blues. And in terms of the Central Division, in terms of the wild card race, I mean, in terms of they have, I don't know, 16 or above, which are, yeah. So the Pacific Division, like below the top three looks to be relatively weak, at least below the Seattle Kraken. But again, let's see about the. All right. That was, as of earlier in the week. We look at the standings here. And, and compared to last season, in the short video, in response to Abomination's claim about how the Canucks and Oilers had pretty much switched places. Canucks in a top 3 divisional spot, the Oilers, well, alright, so just before I go, what I would do is just, review where, where the Oilers happen to be in the wildcard race. So I'm just going to review where the Oilers happen to be. Because this is going to be about the Oilers and how, well, there were no games played at all on Thursday Eastern Time. So what I'm going to do is going to go, wow, 10 points back of the nearest available wildcard spot. If that ain't evidence of a team that's not likely to see playoff action this season, I honestly don't know what is. 10 points. Last season, the Ottawa Senators, at some point late in November, were 10 points out of a playoff spot. Although those Sens would rise to 6 points out, my prediction that by then that the Sens were not going to see playoff action turned out to be right. This season, whoops. Let's see where the Sens are. Okay, they're 5 points back, but they still got quite a number of games to play. Key will be winning them, but again, we'll see what happens. But now I'm going to go to where the Leafs, where the Oilers were. From earlier in the week. That the Canucks and Oilers had switched places. So it's a short video, a bit under a minute. I'm going to play that video so I can hit the sound. Stay tuned for more.
It looks like this one. That's the time, North American Eastern Time, on Tuesday morning. You can see here. Look at the Atlantic Division. Rather familiar territory for the Habs. But in the Pacific, things have changed dramatically.
Compared to last season.
Look at how well the Canucks are doing, and look at how badly the Oilers are doing. Not likely to see playoff action, if you ask me. 2 straight games.
In Florida.
Yeah. It looks like this Oil season is about to be lost. That's the time, North American Eastern Time.
Well, that was from Tuesday morning Eastern Time. Yeah, so Leafs could be playing the Blackhawks at the United Center. Going to be part of a 2-game set. I'm really hoping these Leafs can win the 2 games. It's just they've got to keep pace with their divisional rivals. Yeah, some of them have, the Sabres and Habs have kind of dropped off a little bit, but the Leafs are still not secure. I'm just gonna see where the Leafs. All right, so. Where were the Leafs? All right. Where the Leafs were. So, Leafs have been in a playoff spot by 1 point. That's what the Leafs are going to have to do. The Habs have played 19 games. And so again, the Leafs are going to have to keep on winning games to keep pace with their divisional rivals, and also to stay to not just stay in a playoff spot, but to keep up with the divisional rivals. So yeah, I mean the Sabres aren't exactly going away. Leafs have 22 points, so they really need to run the table if they're going to create some distance between themselves and the other divisional rivals. I mean, the Sabres, Wings, Sabres, haven't said, so we'll have to see what happens. But again, Leafs have had a tendency to lose to not so good teams. So I'm worried that this Blackhawks game, this game coming up in Chicago, is going to be a loss by a country mile. The last time those two teams met, which was in Toronto sometime last month, the Leafs were going to lose. They're thinking, they have these points in the bag. That is going to be the wrong attitude to take. Leaf fans, I urge you to be skeptical. We know what's happened in the past when these Leafs have faced so-called bottom feeders. I can go back quite a few seasons. Where there were bottom feeders and Leafs ended up not losing. I mean, Buffalo Sabres in the Heritage Classic. 5 goals allowed. 2 goals scored. The lack of physical mental toughness. And for me, it is simple. The Leafs have had limited playoff success, and it's so good that there are 2 Canadian teams, the Canucks and Jets, that seem to be doing quite well, that are top 3 divisional spots. The question will be whether the Canucks will stay there. Probably they will. I mean, they just have to figure out how to turn their season around and try to get more out of their depth players. Jets, there's also the question, I mean, whether with no Pierre-Luc Dubois, no Blake Wheeler, if they can, stay in the top 3. It's not going to be easy to do, but it's doable. So in terms of the Jets seem to be winning their share of games. Let's see here. Calgary Flames have been kind of hot and cold. I mean, they're on the they're close to a playoff spot, but still they got some depth scoring issues, and it'll be interesting to find out what happens. I mean, there's also a bunch of expiring contracts. So again, for me, I mean, I figure the Flames were going to miss the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs, and I mean that 6-game losing streak with all such losses having come in regulation that had occurred earlier this season certainly has not helped. It certainly has hurt. But again, I don't count the Flames out of a playoff spot yet. I mean, it's still too soon. Worthy for the Oilers, I'd say they're probably not going to make it. 10 points back of the nearest available playoff spot. Plenty of evidence for me, if there wasn't already a body of evidence. These Oilers are just not capable of doing so. So, I mean, so this is my own conversation with I mean, again, let's just get to here. So I was going to go and before I end up, I mean, one of my own conversations with Elliot Friedman of Hockey Night in Canada, Sportsnet, about, let's see here, let me just go here. So, Thanksgiving, from Frank Taravaldi, 44.5%, 12.5% for me. So this is my own conversation with him, Elliot Friedman, 12.5%, and I think Elliot's own Sportsnet colleague, JD Bunkiss of the Fan 590 Radio. The Raptors not being a good basketball team. Well, the Oilers aren't a very good hockey team. So this is what I did. I was going to do that as well. I picked the Oilers as the most likely Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup. And so Stanley Cup, they were, there was no reason to me to think the Oilers were going to not be the likeliest Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup. I mean, there's a whole body of evidence, the short thread. But there was that body of evidence that the Oilers... Alright, let's go to see where they're at. So the Oilers had been the most consistent, had in the 2020s the most consistent playoff success among Canadian NHL teams. I mean, yeah, 4 seasons in a row, the Oilers and Leafs had both seen playoff action. The Leafs end up, even snapping their lengthy playoff series win drought. The problem with the Oilers now, they've gone all the way down. The Leafs are still vulnerable, but there's still a chance. There's still a very good chance the Leafs are going to, I'd say 50-50 at this point. The Leafs are going to see playoff action. But that's simply because, who knows how the games the Leafs have in hand on other teams will go. Because I know to be skeptical. The blue line has not been good. And although John Klingberg, a defenseman who was supposed to bring point production up to the blue line, is on long-term injury reserve, who knows for how long? Let's face it here. Like I look at that tweet from. All right, it's gonna. All right, I'm gonna go to my. Just see here. Just gonna see if I can, log in somehow. If I can view the tweet without logging in, because this account has blocked the ability for me to tweet it from its main account. Just gonna see if I can view without logging in. Be hopeful I have. So this is the account from Leafs PR. Placed on long-term injured reserve. The problem with that is that the Leafs did not specify, did not explicitly mention that Klingberg was going to be done for the rest of the season. That's the concerning part. We don't know how long Klingberg will be out, because although the Leafs have cap space that they've been able to free up because he's on LTR, it's only valid for as long as he is. And if Treliving uses that cap space before the Leafs truly know whether Klingberg will be on LTR for what remains of the regular season, who knows? Because the postseason, as far as I know, doesn't have a salary cap. The regular season does, and that's the problem. The Leafs were barely cap compliant as it had been for much of the season, and as a consequence, they have more cap space to call up players and be able to put together a 23-man roster. And that's the thing. The decisions of Kyle Dubas when GM had made the Leafs barely cap compliant. It's been constant juggling, and it'll be very clear that I'm really hoping that the Leafs will not be like the Oilers against the Blackhawks. The Leafs against the Blackhawks will not be like those Oilers. It's been quite a few days off, but it's also going to be a back-to-back, and the Leafs need to find ways to continue to grind out points. They need to find ways to grind points out of games that are taking place on consecutive calendar days Eastern Time. These have yet to have that, following in non-preseason play following last season. Postseason typically aren't games that are scheduled for the same teams to play on consecutive evenings Eastern Time. That was the case. There were Leafs had at least one calendar day off between each playoff game last season and the season before that. The 2 seasons before that, though, 2 seasons before the 21-22 season, the Leafs, did play in each playoff series one, games on consecutive evenings, but there's only one pairing each time. But again, in the regular season, the Leafs need to get used to playing games, on consecutive evenings Eastern time, on consecutive calendar days Eastern time, and they're gonna have to find ways to win. The Atlantic Division has been tight, in part because the Leafs have struggled, and the Oilers we know have struggled. But what about the Leafs? Let's see how the Leafs have gone this season. Just gonna see, we can just get for the Leafs. Let's go for the Leafs and let's go with Leaf season. October, not great, but could have been worse. November, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Leafs lost 5 of 6 games, but some were in extra time. And it's again, they've won 4 straight. They've been able to partially undo their their losing ways late in October, early November. Although, at least, I don't know if if the LTR stint for Klingberg is retroactive to the last game that he played. But the problem is what to do about Ryan Reaves, about whether Sheldon Keefe, the head coach of the Leafs, will play winger Ryan Reaves, who has been ineffective when he has played. More goals the Leafs have allowed when the winger has been on the ice than when he has not been. That's a problem. Hopefully Keefe will say, no, you're not playing, Ryan, because you've not been good. I'm concerned that if the lineup for the Leafs shows that Reaves is going to play, or is projected to, I'll be very concerned. I mean, Reaves was supposed to add toughness, and I don't blame Keefe for having acquired Reaves. That was on the front office. That, Brad Treliving, the GM, should have known better than to try to acquire aging vets. The same thing that's hurt the Leafs in the postseason. It's hurt the Leafs in the regular season. Hopefully, Reaves will be out of the lineup. And to send a message to the front office of the Leafs that Reaves is unplayable and needs to be waived or traded. If not traded, waived. Doesn't hurt. Yes, I don't know if another team's going to pick up Reaves, but who knows if any non-Leafs NHL team will want Reaves to play for it. That's the uncertainty. I mean, what's the risk? Reaves' value is probably already in the tank as it is. I mean, yes, it's maybe an affordable contract, but with so many teams in the NHL barely cap compliant, who knows? It may be that not right at the moment they want to add Reaves, and he'll just go right to the Marlies, and the Leafs will not have to worry about calling him up. Keep him down there, because Matt may be where he is destined for. He's on a one-way contract, so he'll, the cap hit will be the same. And, whatever salary he makes is going to be the same, too, so I don't care. Anyway, it's already getting quite long, this video. I'm definitely, what the Leafs, the implications of the Oilers and, what the Leafs need to do. I mean, the starting lineup, as of now, I don't think is available. Can't think of the starting lineup being available for the Leaf game, as far as I know. Just going to check the Leafs on Twitter to find out if there is any info about the starting lineup. And I'm going to, if there is, it's... Oh no, it's going to be on TSN Channel 4, so thus blacked out to anyone who has a Canadian TV subscription that is based outside the Leafs region. My TV subscription is based inside the Leafs region. So the most recent tweet for the Leafs is game day, other than the pinned one about supposed connection to Sweden. So no lab yet, but maybe there will be soon. So just gonna end this video say that if you like the video, please make sure to click that like button at just a few centimeters or so. At the bottom of the video. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do so. If you also want to if you also want more timely notifications, please make sure to click the notification button. Click the bell, whatever. I try to put out videos at least every other week. And on that note, I'm going to say, go Leafs go Toronto FC go Raptors go, and with respect to other Canadian national teams for which I cheer, go Canada go.